What's up, everybody? It's E the Prophet here to do another video. And this video is going to be called UFC 271, the worst commentating that I've ever heard in the main event. Now, before I get on to how terrible the commentating was in Whittaker versus Adesanya 2, there are a couple other things I want to hit on at UFC 271, a couple, quick points I want to make before I get to how bad that commentating was and who I thought won the fight between Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. First off, I want to say something about Casey ONeill. This was Roxanne Modaffari's last fight, and she fought Casey ONeill. Casey ONeill ended up winning the fight, but the fans were booing her like pretty badly. So she gets the microphone, and she jumps on the microphone and says, "Fuck you to the fans." Let me tell Casey ONeill and all other UFC fighters, I don't care how emotional you are, it is never a good idea to say fuck you to the people who pay for your living, who pays your checks. It's never a good idea to say fuck you to those people. A lot of fighters seem to be under the impression that the fans don't matter. The fans are what matters the most. The fans dictate how successful you're going to be by paying to see you fight, buying your merchandise, whatever. This is not the WWE. That heel shit doesn't work in the UFC. WWE is scripted. It's not real. It's entertainment. UFC is entertainment, but it's real. It's not scripted. You know what I'm saying? So the dynamic is different. So fighters need to keep that in mind when they jump on that microphone and decide to say, fuck you to the fans. One other thing I want to say, I can't remember which fight it was, and it's probably a good thing I don't remember their name, but I'm gonna tell you one thing that really just looks bad to me is foot stomps. Keep in mind, normally the camera's gonna just be on you and that fighter. And if that camera pans on you stomping somebody's feet, it's a bad optic. It doesn't look good. So I would just encourage fighters, man, use a technique other than the foot stomping. Another one I really hate is when a fighter has a fighter down on the ground and they put their hand over their mouth, try to cover their mouth up, stop their breathing. That's another really bad optic. So, just pay attention to that stuff, man. The foot stomps, the mouth covers, bad optics. Now, on to the main event of UFC. Oh, actually, before I even get to the main event, I just want to say the last three fights on the card were excellent. Jared Cannonier beat Derrick Brunson. I actually thought Brunson was going to beat Cannonier, and Brunson looked pretty good. But he got caught with that big shot, and that was all she wrote. Oddly enough, I actually think Brunson would do better against Adesanya than Cannonier will. But hey, this is the fight game. You never know what's going to happen. Then we had Tai Tuivasa against Derrick Lewis. Tuivasa ended up knocking out Derrick Lewis. I had a feeling that was going to happen. I just had that feeling. So Tai Tuivasa is the real deal now. And whoever fights him is going to have to be real careful because he has serious knockout power. And he took some of Derrick Lewis's best shots, by the way. And then on to the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker, the rematch. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, based on what I saw in that fight, I thought that fight was most definitely a draw. I don't think either fighter did anything to win that fight. Which brings me to the terrible commentating primarily from Michael Bisping. This is why this guy doesn't commentate on pay-per-views, because he's not good enough. I have never seen a more biased commentator. And I thought DC was bad. But Michael Bisping is the worst I have ever seen. This dude said he had to fight 49-46 for Adesanya. And I'm trying to figure out what fucking fight did he watch? What fight did anybody watch? That said that Adesanya dictated that fight. Dictated it how? From the few leg kicks he threw? Because the punches were pretty much even. Actually, I thought Whittaker kind of got the better of Adesanya in the punching department. And then, Adesanya landed a couple, good leg kicks. But then Robert Whittaker got a few takedowns. So I really don't see how either one of these guys won the fight convincingly. I mean, I know Robert Whittaker thought he did enough, but to be honest, to call it straight, Robert Whittaker fought scared for the first 2.5 rounds. He was nervous as shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and it affected his performance. Now, Izzy, I really don't, it seemed like unless somebody comes at him, like really comes at him, he really can't. He reminds me a lot of Anderson Silva in that way. Anderson Silva was like that. If you didn't come at him, he really didn't know what to do. He really didn't have a way to come forward at you. And that's kind of how Izzy is. He's such a counterpuncher that it's hard for him to generate offense when the opponent isn't coming at him aggressively. But if I had to pick somebody to win that fight, I probably would have went with Robert Whittaker. But with that said, I don't think Robert Whittaker really did enough to beat the champ, but I don't think the champ did enough to beat him either, which is why I say the fight is a draw. There was very, very little action in the fight. And a little tiny bit of action there was even to me. And this fight kind of reminded me a lot of when Izzy fought Yoel Romero, but I thought Robert Whittaker was more active than Yoel. But this fight reminded me of that fight. Both of them were not really good, entertaining fights, to be honest. But for Michael Bisping to show Robert Whittaker such disrespect, now he hadn't did that all night. There were other close fights where they were pretty much, we'll let the judges decide. But for some reason, in this razor-thin, super close fight, he just knew that Izzy dictated the whole fight and that Izzy had won the fight. And I just don't understand where that came from, how what fight he was looking at. And evidently the judges, one of the judges had a 49-46, which I didn't understand. To be honest, even though I don't agree with the 47-48, I can understand it because it was a really close fight. So I'm not mad about the 47-48 going to Izzy and him winning. It is what it is. But to say that Izzy dictated the fight how? How did he dictate the fight? Doing what? The couple leg kicks he threw? I mean, to me, I just don't, maybe, I've been watching fights for a long time. Maybe I see fights differently than a lot of other people. But I definitely didn't see Izzy dictating that fight at all. And like I said, Michael Bisping is a goddamn disgrace. He should be ashamed of himself. He should really go back and watch that main event and listen to himself. Listen to how fucking biased he was. Man, I damn near was supposed to shut the fucking sound off. I couldn't take it. Yo, I could not believe how damn biased he was. He said 49-46. I mean, it wasn't even a case of, let's let it go to the judges. This was a really close fight. Let's let I have no idea how the judges are going to see it. Nothing like that. Oh, Izzy won the fight. Izzy's dictating the fight. Robert Whittaker didn't do enough to beat the champ. I mean, these were all things Michael Bisping was saying throughout the night, man. And I swear, I wanted to punch him in his goddamn face for real. I really wanted to light his lips up, shut him the fuck up. He really was getting on my last nerve. Man, I have never been so irritated watching the UFC card as I was during the main event of UFC 271. I have never been so irritated. And I'm going to tell you, I am not a big fan of DC either. But Michael Bisping made DC, saying totally unbiased. In fact, everybody's saying how good DC was. It ain't really so much that DC was good, it's that Michael Bisping was so fucking bad that everybody else looked good. That's really what it was. DC really wasn't no different. But I'm going to tell you what, I've come to appreciate him a lot more myself after hearing Michael Bisping commentate during that main event. Man, I swear, they should never, ever, please God, let Joe Rogan come back. Man, I don't ever want to see a main event where Michael Bisping is calling it. And if the next pay-per-view, he's commentating, I'm cutting the sound down. I'm just cutting the sound. I'm not, I'll put that shit on Spanish or something so I don't have to hear it. But I will never, ever listen to him commentating the main event ever again. And that's really all I really made this video to say was I thought the fight was a draw and Michael Bisping was fucking awful. I'm not going to beat the horse any more than that. But everybody, thank you for watching the video. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share the video if you like. Leave a comment. Do you agree with me? Who do you think won the fight? Was Michael Bisping's commentating as terrible to you as it was to me? Leave a comment. Let me know. Like I said, thank you for watching the video, everybody. I love y'all. Everybody stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy. Peace.